for Skip Prosser's Xavier Ball Club as they've come up short in their last 4 outings. Today, they'll try to rev up the offense back to the up-tempo pace that it was earlier in the season. Get ready for an Atlantic 10 showdown between the Xavier Musketeers and the Rams from Fordham, live from the Cincinnati Gardens.
Welcome to the Cincinnati Gardens. The Musketeers try to get it turned around this afternoon against the surprising Rams of Fordham. Hi, everybody. Along with Ralph Lee, I'm Tom Hamilton. Boy, it was just 4 weeks ago. Xavier was flying high. People were talking about how highly seeded would the Musketeers be in the NCAA tournament. But then that second half collapse at Marquette, and it's been a struggle ever since. And in the last 4 games, Ralph, the offense has really misfired.
The offense has really misfired in the last 4 games. If you take a look, only 2 players have really gone up in their scoring, and the other guys have dipped down tremendously. If you take a look at scoring average, they've dipped down in that as well. That correlation, you have to score more in order to win.
Yeah, and what's disconcerting for Skip Prosser, it's not 1 or 2 players, it's now a team-wide epidemic. So the question becomes, how do you get out of it?
How do you get out of it? You do 3 things I think you have to do to get out of it. Number 1, you need more power play in the post. Early on in the year, you take a look at David. He gave us a lot of power play in the post. Been asked the last 3 games, more aggressive, taking the ball right to the rack, like you see here with Lloyd. And the last thing, perimeter shooting, which means Lloyd Price, Darnell Williams, and Maurice McAfee have to start scoring a lot more than they have been in the last 4 games.
All right, Ralph. Well, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Xavier has to win today, and this would seem to be a great matchup. They've beaten Fordham 6 straight. Stay tuned. It's the Musketeers and Rams when we come back. And Jeep dealers starting lineups. And for the Fordham Rams, there's one change in there. Steve Cannell gets the start, as they are going to be without the services of one of their better big men, Alejandro Oliveras, out today. He will not play due to the stomach flu. Bob Hill is in his first year as the head coach of Fordham. He's the man with the gray hair and his back to you. Longtime NBA coach, including a 62-win season with the San Antonio Spurs. The Xavier Musketeers, there was some talk about a change in the starting lineup. Skip Prosser said, hey, nobody else is playing any better in practice. I'll go with these guys. And they have had a great week of practice since the Temple game, and he did not want to change it. Go with the guys that got you to the dance. And Skip Prosser in his 6th year at Xavier. And this is a guy that averages 21 wins per season. Musketeers in a must-win situation when we come back to the Cincinnati Gardens. Bank, by Jeep Chrysler Plymouth Dealers, by Kroger, by Open Plan Systems, and by Ameritech.
Gray and white.
And a look at senior Darnell Williams, hoping that he, as well as the rest of his teammates, can break out of it today. They need a good offensive game, and that young man, David West, has been held to 8 points over his last 2 games. But remember, he's a freshman. You've got to expect some of those peaks and valleys.
You got to expect peaks and valleys from the freshmen. Big thing today, they go to the gray uniforms, Tom, trying to make a change.
Well, in Fordham, whatever uniform Xavier wears has struggled against the Musketeers, having dropped 6 in a row, as you saw the numbers in this series between the 2 clubs, which has been dominated by Xavier. Both ball clubs 2 and 4 in the Atlantic 10.
And this kid, Bevan Roberts, is a really good player. First team All-Atlantic 10 preseason.
Fordham getting it inside. Johnson lost it on the way up. Good hustle by Lloyd Price. Price playing with that sore shoulder. This is McAfee on the drive. He'll pull up, jump shot, good.
And that's what you've been looking for. We talked about in the opening. More perimeter play from McAfee. Still by Lloyd. Right on his head, come right out at him.
Well, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. A quick 4-0 start, and you can see the aggressiveness exhibited by the Musketeers here in the early going. Skip Prosser got his message across this week in practice after the Temple debacle.
Yes, he did. Yesterday, you really watched him practice yesterday. He talked a lot about doing the little things in order to get turnovers. The difference between getting 20 turnovers and getting 10, that's the difference in the ball game.
John Pugh, the 6'10 senior, missing. Rebound yanked out of there by David West. David West leading the club in rebounding at 9 a game. 4-0 Xavier. We've played a minute and 20 seconds. West passed up the jumper. Kick out Williams for 3. Little strong and run down by the Rams. This is Robin, a great shooter. And Javon Robin missed it badly. Frey has it, and the Musketeers on the attack.
I tell you, Robbins looks like a pro player pulling up like that. And Bob Hill, it doesn't even affect Bob Hill.
Underneath, missing and falling to the court was McAfee. At the other end, this is Johnson, and the Fordham is on the board finally. 4-2 Xavier, as we have played nearly 2 minutes. Fordham likes an up-tempo game, too, so they like to play the same style of ball as Xavier. Lloyd Price got the triple.
Got the triple.
And he has 5 quick points.
Try to turn him over here.
Well, you can see a different spring in the step of the Musketeers. 10-second count. Didn't get it across center court. Musketeers have come out ready to play.
They've come out ready to play, which correlates getting the crowd into the basketball game as well. That's the key here at home. You've got to get the crowd in the game as well.
And we've got a timeout. So we'll take a timeout. Fordham needs to talk things over as Xavier off to a terrific start.
Really well the last couple of weeks. Take a look at this replay here. Darnell dribble penetrates what they talked about in practice yesterday, and Lloyd knocks down a 3. What we talked about in the opener. Price, McAfee, and Williams have to score on the perimeter. Now we need to build on that with some post play from Kevin, Davis.
Price with 5 points, 2 steals, and a kicking the ball, so you get a fresh 35 in the shot clock. Bob Hill didn't waste any time calling the timeout. As you look at Lloyd Price's numbers, he's been a model of consistency and really one of the few for the Musketeers here in the recent months. Driving is West, overlaid it, and the rebound yanked out of there by Canal.
Got to put that one on the glass and stop your momentum. The glass is what I call a momentum stopper when you're trying to go to the glass, put it on the backboard, it stops the momentum of your body.
Kevin Frey, a little over-aggressive out front, picks up his first foul. Well, and Skip Prosser has been disappointed at times with Xavier's approach to certain ball games. He was saying, look, we're not good enough to come out and not be playing with 100% intensity. Well, they've come out today with a certain look of intensity. Jump hook and an air ball by Johnson. Wide open and a good shooter missing it. That was Herituck, and the rebound Canal.
I tell you, the big thing too here is that the intensity level was raised in practice. You took a look at Skip's face during the first time out. You can see his intensity is raised up as well. The big thing in the last 4 slides too is that if you take a look at the big guys, they are not scoring internally, so everybody's pushing out on the perimeter defensively as they knock the ball out of bounds.
Nice block by Darnell Williams, and he's showing that emotion. The senior has been very unhappy with his own play at 15 points in the loss at Temple earlier this week in a game in which Xavier shot 24%. 7-2, Xavier up. Open is Robin. You can't give him that many looks, or he'll knock that down all day.
You don't give a first teamer in the conference that many looks and not expect him to knock it down. And he will knock those down later on.
Kevin Frey, he's been struggling with his shot, but now he'll get 3 free throws. Oh my, Steve Canal with the bump. And that was on a 3-point shot attempt by Kevin Frey, who is an 85% free throw shooter. Now, the offense that we talked about in the open is really illustrated there. And Skip Prosser has been as befuddled as anyone.
Yes, he has been. The big thing, though, is the key inside. They hadn't finished buckets. You remember back to the Duquesne game when we were on last.
Yep.
They kept getting the ball inside. They kept getting it inside, but they could not finish the play. A lot of missed layups, missed opportunities on the inside. And that correlated to the next game and even into the Temple game where they couldn't get it inside.
Frey gets one more. Xavier has the 8-2 lead. Well, really, Ralph, we did the ball game in Milwaukee on January 2nd where Xavier was up 18. They were playing as well in that game and during that stretch as they had at any point in the season. had the second half collapse. Do you think they've been the same team since that game?
No, and the reason why they haven't been is because they don't have the inside-outside. Good steal by Lloyd there.
His third. With the left hand, Lloyd Price doing it all. 7 points, 3 steals. Armatuck in transition. Blocked by Frey, but a good follow by Bavon Robbins.
Yeah, good follow by Bavon. Thing there, we would go back to that point, we didn't have the balance on the offensive end, inside out.
11-4, Xavier on top, 15-40 left first half from the Gardens. Darnell Williams missing again. Frey keeping it alive, but then Johnson pulls it out of there. Not a very big Fordham club. Inside another block, but this time they get David West for a foul, or is it a charge? It's a charge on the Rams.
Darnell took the charge that time.
Well, Lloyd Price has had a terrific start for Xavier. He not only has 7 points, but that was his third steal. And the Musketeers in the early going, 50% from the floor, and Fordham just 22%.
They still continue to struggle to get that ball inside some to where David and Kevin can operate.
Jason Harris, a terrific guard now in the lineup for Fordham. Why he doesn't start, well, it's just a case of giving them a spark off the bench, but really, Harris is as much a starter as anybody in the Atlantic 10.
One of those things where you're my sixth man, but you're my sixth star.
Yeah. Inside David West.
Got to finish those plays.
Can't finish it.
I see that's the difference between early in the year and now, Tom. That's exactly the difference. You got to finish those plays.
Is he tired?
You know, I think in the NBA they call it going into a wall.
Yeah.
And in college it's just adjusting your body from playing those 30 high school games where they 32 minutes to these 30, 35 games with 40 minutes where it's constant pounding and you're practicing every single day.
McAfee, tough shot, didn't get the roll, and with the rebound is Robin. Intercepted almost. Price, who's had 3 steals, nearly another, and Lloyd Price has been Mr. Enthusiasm and energy here in the early going.
He's been that way the whole entire season. He's been one of the most consistent players we've had around here all year.
Xavier 11-7 on the year, 2-4 in the Atlantic 10. Fordham also 2-4 in the Atlantic 10, 9-9 overall.
You can see what their idea is, this double team. Every time Bevan gets the ball, double team.
Another turnover. McAfee into the front court. By the way, today's officials are Joe DeMille, Reggie Greenwood, and Glenn Mayborn.
Gotta give it to him. Let him work in there. Keep working, big fella.
West missed it again, and teammates fighting for it. Finally, Freeman McAfee down with it for Fordham. Fordham hanging in there. And a block, and ahead to Price. Watch out. 9 for Price. Oh, Lloyd Price is just all over this 94-foot court.
He's all over the floor. He's playing hard. And what he's trying to do is play so hard that everybody else pick up at the same tempo.
Yes. Biggest Xavier lead now, 13-4. We've played 6.5 minutes, and Fordham has more turnovers than points. Johnson has a 7th Fordham turnover. Today after the game, he's back to protect and serve. Help is on the way with RoboCop 2. Today after the game on WB64.
RoboCop. Right before the Super Bowl.
It's all Musketeers, 13-4. What a difference from a week ago when LaSalle was in this building.
Trying to do now is run your offense and get something inside out.
McAfee lost it. And a turnover. No. Last touch by the Rams. Reggie Butler into the lineup along with Elvin Brown for the Musketeers.
Yeah, you knew that Skip was going to try somebody else, and Dave had 2 opportunities in the post. Now he's going to try to see if Reggie can finish some of those buckets.
13-4 Xavier. Musketeers have 6 points off the Fordham's 7 turnovers. That's 2 more points than the entire Fordham club, and Mo McAfee gets into the act with a triple. 16-4 Xavier. Kaczynski now with the ball in the lineup.
What Skip's trying to do right now, Tom, is always take the ball out of Bevan Robbins' hands. unless if he's any type of threat, you'll see him coming double teaming.
Well, Xavier's come out today, and they seem to be on a mission, and that is to make Fordham pay the price for Xavier's recent woes. Kaczynski had it kicked out, fresh 35.
You have to make somebody pay at some point in time during this year.
There is a good look at Bob Hill. He's better known for 7 years as an NBA head coach and shocked the basketball world when he took the Fordham job. But it's amazing what a 10-year contract will do to change your mind about a job. And Robin gets the roll and a foul. But, I mean, this is a guy that Bob Hill just a few years ago won 62 games with the San Antonio Spurs and then got fired by the Spurs the next year, took a year off, and now is back in college coaching, says he's enjoying it, but a lot of people really wonder if he'll ever see the end of that 10-year contract.
Yeah, I think you only see it if he starts to get some successes in the first couple of years, and then you start to like it. As a coach, if you like where you are and you got some security, you tend to stay there.
Well, Lloyd Price can't miss. Another 3 for Lloyd Price. He is 5 of 5 from the floor. 12 points for Price. And Xavier up 19-7.
Price is hotter than a Super Bowl ticket right now.
I don't know how hot that may be. Nobody can get to Atlanta. I'll tell you what they need in Atlanta, though, for the Super Bowl is your shirt to melt the ice.
That's what they need.
Left-hander Kaczynski with a miss. And Frey running it down. 3-on-3. And Wisely pulls it out, gives it to McAfee.
Slow down, make good decisions.
And a miss, and hitting the deck was Alvin Brown. He thought he was fouled. Ball goes to Fordham. We've got a timeout. Xavier dominating here in the early going. Skip Price off to a scintillating start.
He's been working real hard on his jump shot. But the big thing, as we said in the opener, the big three out front have to be coming off screens and knocking down shots. Take a look here at Mo. When we are knocking down shots like that, we're 3 for 5. Fordham's 0 for 5. You knock down shots like that, Tom, it opens up the middle. And you allow the big guys to work.
Xavier's full court pressure has also been a factor here today in the early going. Fordham has never been able to get into any kind of a rhythm on the offensive end. And remember, Fordham is playing for the first time in 8 days. That's a long break this time of the year. In the corner, Harris. I mean, he missed that air ball by 5 feet.
And the last time the Fordham went out, they played St. Bonaventure, and they knocked off the Bonnies, 66-60. And the Bonnies are the same team that knocked off Temple.
Yep.
And
well, I mean, Fordham in the last 2 weeks has beaten St. Bonaventure and Dayton.
So Xavier doing this to a Fordham team that's not a bad team.
No. But today, Fordham looks awful, and Xavier looks outstanding. And that combination gives you a 19-7 Xavier lead with 11:15 to play in the half. Darnell Williams. Quick move inside. Turner tried to follow, couldn't. McAfee bangs into Robin, no call. Open is Harris from the corner. That 3 missing again. Blocked out by Reggie Butler. Outlet pass Brown. He's got Turner ahead. There's the drive, and Alvin Brown fouled by Javon Harris.
That time McAfee hit a Mack truck.
Boy, Skip Prosser was really upset.
Take a look here. As AB trying to take it all away. Waited too long to make the decision to throw it to Earn or either take it all away. Waited too long to get that ball ahead.
Alvin Brown, 64% free throw shooter. You have 2 of the premier free throw shooting teams in the Atlantic 10 as Lloyd Price getting ready to come back in. Xavier shoots 71% as a team, and Fordham is the best in the league at 76%. Xavier up 20-7. Xavier has scored half the number of points they scored this week at Temple in an entire game.
And Temple can do that to you with that zone. That zone is tough to score
Duquesne.
Against. Duquesne, you're right. It's tough to score against that zone.
And Xavier now leading at 21-7 is Alvin Brown with the 2 free throws. This is Kaczynski out front. Xavier in the aggressive man defense.
And it's a lot more aggressive man defense than it was last week. because they're up in them, not standing back, letting them decide what they want to do. They're making them go where they want them to go.
Well, tonight at 8 o'clock, it's the show critics are raving about. It's a special 2-hour presentation of Jack and Jill. Tonight at 8 on WB 64. David West back into the lineup for the Musketeers. Reggie Butler departs, having grabbed 2 rebounds in his time. Almost another Fordham turnover. We have officials pointing in opposite directions. And whose call stands? Glenn Mayborg's call stands. It belongs to Fordham. Right in front of the Xavier bench. Skip Prosser was able to bite his tongue just in time.
That was Lloyd Price being Mr. Slick over there. He knocked it out and told him it was out ball. But that was a good call by the official.
14-point Xavier lead. 10.5 minutes to play in the first half from the Gardens. Triple team, and still muscling it in was Freeman McAfee. I don't know how he did that.
I think he took a walk and travel on the boardwalk that time.
Oh, that'll help. 21-9 Xavier. Price. Turner wasn't ready for that terrific pass. And Turner almost threw it away. Lloyd Price, why not? He hasn't missed yet. He finally does. And ripping it out of there. Harris ahead to Johnson. Price with a block.
Way to get up, Lloyd. Went up there and got that one.
Elvin Brown, he is manhandled by Harris. Finally a call by the official the furthest away. Lloyd Price, what else can he do today?
I tell you what,
12 points, 3 steals, and a block.
He missed that 3, and he figured, hey, coach may be a little bit upset, so I'm going to hurry up back down here and try to get that block.
And that 3 he missed is the only shot he's missed. Xavier up 21-9, and Darnell Williams with a 2-pointer. Off balance, got it to fall. His first points. And Xavier now getting contributions from everybody.
And hello, Mr. Williams.
Yep.
Complete that big 3.
23-9 Xavier. We've played now 10.5 minutes. The Xavier defense has been so good in the half court today. Fordham just really scrambling, and Kaczynski with a 3-pointer. That young man is from the former Soviet Union.
Nice little stroke.
Yep. 23-12. Xavier's lead is 11. 9 minutes left in the half.
Got to finish that in the post. Don't be hesitant.
And West hesitating, threw it away. Turner scrapping for it. Look at that. Didn't get it to fall, but good effort. Robin can fly, can he? No pun intended. An offensive foul. Robin doesn't like the call. His first personal. That young man, for the 3rd year in a row, is leading Fordham in scoring. He led the Atlantic 10 in scoring as a freshman. And back into the lineup is Scott Armituck for Fordham. Fordham will go 10 deep.
Kevin Robin has, I think he has a case in this one. He slid by Lloyd on that one. I thought that was a bad call by the official. Kevin went right by him. That's what I call home cooking there.
Darnell Williams. He'll take the jumper, partially blocked. In the corner, Harris runs it down. Fordham with the ball, down 11. Bad pass. Fordham keeps shooting themselves in the foot. And that turnover is number 10 on Fordham.
And what Xavier's doing is got them playing out of a tempo that they're not used to.
Yeah.
They're not used to playing at this high speed. And they're trying to play with Xavier. This is Xavier's cover.
And as we mentioned, 10 turnovers already on the Rams. Only 1 for the Musketeers. West missing, but followed, got fouled. And it goes against Freeman McAfee and David West, who has not been able to score yet today, will go to the line to shoot the pair.
What he did that time, Tommy, squared up and he took the shot in motion instead of hesitating. Early in the game, he caught the ball at the foul line. He hesitated a little bit. He took the shot in motion. Best thing you do as a player, for all you young players out there, is follow your shot. He went back, followed the shot, got himself to the line. Sometimes to get yourself together, you got to go to the line and hit a couple free throws.
John Pugh back in for the Rams. First point for David West, who has scored only 8 points over the last 2 games. David West, the freshman, comes in here today, 11 points, 9 rebounds a game. He's going to become the first Musketeer since Brian Grant to lead the club in rebounding as a freshman.
And that's what you, as a freshman, you have to live and die with it. His ups and downs. And what you try to do is hopefully you get production from other players to pick you back up.
Hey, you shouldn't have to depend on freshmen, should you?
No, you shouldn't. But when you're this good.
Oh, what a save by West. Spinning Price got stripped and falls on the shoulder, and he is down. Price is hurt underneath his own basket, and the layup is scored by Harmatuck. And it looked like Price landed on that bad shoulder.
That shoulder's been bothering him the last couple of weeks.
Boy, is he in agony. So we've got a timeout. We'll get an update on Lloyd Price when we come back. Xavier by 11 with 7:42 left in the first half, and you wonder if Lloyd Price will be back anymore today, re-injuring that left shoulder on the drive to the basket.
And what happened here, you spin, he makes a spin move, comes to the lane, and the guy knocks his hand down. And he's having problems with it coming back down and up, and he pulled it down, had a jerk reaction on it, and that stung him.
He couldn't practice one day this week because of the pain in the shoulder. And today, Price with a dozen points. McAfee, he answers with Price on the bench. McAfee now has 7.
That's a good move by Mo. Just a nice draw pull-up.
Xavier's basketball on the 11th Fordham turnover. Check that. 12 now. 12 turnovers on Fordham. Xavier with just 1 miscue.
And that was the big thing Skip talked about in practice yesterday when they were working on their pressure, is get to the spot and make them turn it over. And he was talking about little things when you get to your spots will be the difference between Fordham having 10 turnovers this game and Fordham having 20 turnovers. If we get to 20 turnovers, we have more opportunities to score. And that was his big thing he worked on, and he really pounded that home yesterday.
Xavier with its 2nd turnover. Fordham this year has had turnover problems. 17 a game. Robin spinning inside, scoring, and foul. Boy, is he quick.
He's quick and got a nice soft touch. Not that big, but sure, he is surely quick.
Watch Bavon Robin, how quickly he gets.
Nice reverse dribble there, and he picks it up as a reverse dribble. Watch, he picks the ball up, goes straight up, little touch on the rim, on the wrist there, and count it.
Bavon Robin averaging 17 a game. He's a junior. He's averaged 17 a game in 3 years, and he has 8 points. Bavon Robin, 2nd team all-conference a year ago, rookie of the year in the Atlantic 10 2 years ago. He is a keeper. And he keeps Fordham in the game. It's still a 10-point Xavier lead and a turnover. Frey got stripped ahead to Canal. Canal driving, scoring. 8-point game.
Nice looking move by Canal. Good crossover. Use the rim as its protector. Now Fordham's going to trap a little bit. Step through the trap.
McAfee did. Kevin Frey driving. Kick out to McAfee. Frey for 3. Short of it, followed it. Nice play, Frey. McAfee, great fake, and he'll shoot 3. Robin wasn't able to clear McAfee, and Bavon Robin picks up his 2nd personal, and McAfee will get 3 at the charity stripe.
Mac made a nice head fake and ducked underneath of him, moved his neck a little bit. As you take a look, ducked underneath, got hit in the neck a little bit there, and that leg. He's lucky. He's fortunate there. He's fortunate.
And McAfee at the line, where he is an 83% free throw shooter. Wow, they're calling that a non-shooting foul. A 1-and-1. Okay. This is Robin. Fadeaway not there. West the rebound. Look for the outlet. Nobody there. 5 rebounds for David West. Entry pass to Frey. And he was fouled. A poke foul by Steve Canal.
Yeah. And that's what they're trying to do, is get the big guys involved right now. Good post pass by Maurice, which I think is an art that's lost in this game. He rolls it in there. Kevin bends over, picks it up, makes a nice move, and gets fouled.
18 fouls now on Fordham, just 5 on Xavier. So Frey will shoot 2. And Kevin Frey rattles the first one home. Xavier leads 28-19, 5:56 to play first half. Frey's scoring has really dropped off. He's averaged 6 points a game over the last 4 games. Prior to that, he'd been averaging 16 a game. And today, Kevin Frey with 4. Nice drive and score by Steve Canal, the sophomore.
And that's not, that started at the point. You can't allow a guy to dribble through the whole trap like that.
Williams, triple from the corner. West, look at the board. Scored. Thought he was fouled. Didn't get the call. Deflected the inbound.
That's how talented this kid is.
David West now with 4 points. Xavier's lead is 10. Kaczynski, the southpaw, airballs it. Good hustle by Harris. The tip in by Kaczynski.
And that's what happened last week here. They got beat to every loose ball last week in the first half. You've got to get to the loose balls. The hustle plays are what makes the difference between you going up big or you stand keeping a team in the basketball game, because none of these teams are going to give up on the hustle.
No. And Xavier's getting out-rebounded again today. They've been out-rebounded in the last 4 games in each game. McAfee, the floater won't go. Canal the rebound. Kaczynski running the floor, offensive foul. Oh boy, paying the price in a big way. Then McAfee that's down on the ground.
Holding his nose. I think Mo's holding his nose.
He got smoked by Kaczynski.
Good move. Mac did the only thing he could do here is take the charge. Mac couldn't block a shot. So the only thing he could do, take the charge, paid the price.
And he wobbles over to the Xavier bench.
Lloyd Price is
going
back.
To stay in.
Lloyd Price is back.
Lloyd Price back in. Boy, the way he went to the bench, you thought his day was over.
Yeah, you didn't think his day was over.
But Price is back with 12 points, sore shoulder and all. Xavier has the ball. 4:39 left first half. Musketeers with an 8-point lead. They've led from the get-go. Skip Prosser was saying before the game today as well that he does not think his club has been the same club since that Marquette game. He says the confidence level right now is at an all-time low. He said it's amazing how one good game can turn that quickly the other way.
One of the things I was telling the players yesterday when they were at practice is that you can get well in a hurry. In your next 7 days, you've got Fordham here, you've got Dayton here, and then you got to go on the road to play GW. You can get those 3 wins, you can get well in a hurry. And your confidence is back. You're now back on top. You get a quality win against Dayton and a quality win against George Washington. If you can get those 2 wins in the next 7 days, you can get well in a hurry.
We've seen it all year in college basketball, with the exception of unbeaten Syracuse. Everybody has been vulnerable as you see a bloody Brandon McIntosh heading to the Xavier locker room. I did not see what happened to McIntosh, but he is cut underneath the left eye, and he was not a part of the Mike Tyson fight last night.
No, Matt, he was not a part of the fight.
But again, in college basketball this year, there really are no dominant teams to speak of. I mean, even though Syracuse is unbeaten, I don't think anybody expects that team to match what Indiana did in 1976. So you've seen teams all year long, Ralph, go through little droughts, be it the Kentucky Wildcats. You look at Michigan State has had moments like that. Some of the best teams in the country, all of a sudden now St. John's can't win. So that's the way the game is right now.
The only team I would say is the dominant team in the college basketball ranks right now is the UC Bearcats. It's the only dominant team I think that is in the college basketball. Everybody else can get beat on any given night. The UC's conference schedule and stuff like that, they can get beat, but it's highly unlikely they're going to get beat in that conference, and they should run the table there. But when you look out throughout the country, this is a very even college basketball year. It's going to be who gets hot in March and can win 6 straight.
Kevin Frey the miss, Harris the rebound. Yeah, and to take nothing away from the Bearcats, but Conference USA is down this year.
It is. It is.
Carroll had it blocked to goaltend. And it may not matter this year, though, in Conference USA, because a down year or not, Cincinnati is that kind of team.
Yeah. Even if it was an up league, Cincinnati still would dominate that league. The thing that I think Bob Hill's going through right now, he's matching Xavier's height right now. He's going to a small lineup.
And it's worked because the lead's cut in half to 6, and Xavier almost turned it over.
What has happened is they thought Fordham has gone to a trap. It's giving the Musketeers some problems.
So the Fordham Rams have fought their way back into this game. They get a goaltending call. Bob Hill was saying, my ball club may be the most schizophrenic team in the history of college basketball. We've seen an example of that here today. They were awful for 10 minutes, but they're right back in it now.
The same thing they did against St. Bonaventure. They were down and went on a 19-6 run to end the ball game, to win the ball game.
Yeah, they were down 15 in the second half and rallied to beat the Bonnies. That was their last game 8 days ago. And now all of a sudden, it's a 2-possession game.
And what Xavier has to do, the perimeter plays there, a little bit of the post-up game, but the most important thing on the offensive end, they've got to get more dribble penetration, and they've also got to get more aggressiveness on the defensive end as well as the offensive end.
Well, Ray Carroll's three-pointer makes it a 3-point Xavier lead, and look at the Fordham aggressiveness pickup. They're all over the court now. McAfee, baseline jumper.
To slow down, take your time, reverse the basketball against this trap. This is a gamble defense because this is the last thing Bob can go to before he looked at it and say, hey, let's go to this, let's try this. He's trying things now.
McAfee 9 points, Xavier up 5. The runner drops in for Johnson. And again, Xavier's lead down to 3. This is Price for 3. Rebound McAfee from the corner. Got another big jumper. He has 11. McAfee made 1 shot against Temple. He was 1 of 10 against Temple and 11 points today.
But I still don't like the offense right now. I don't like the offense because they're not taking their time and reversing the basketball against this pressure. You've got to reverse the basketball against this trap, and you'll get layups. So shoot layups all day.
Gotcha. Offensive foul. Another great job of drawing the charge. McAfee, who is taking shot after shot to that little body, hangs in there again.
Here's another charge Mac's going to take. Steps right in the lane. Good take. And he got a little help on this charge. Fry gave him a little push in the back. Helped him get that charge a little bit. A little teamwork on the charge.
Those are the little things that can turn around the losing skid. Xavier with the ball leading 35-30. 2:15 left in the half.
This is where you got to take your time against this offense and reverse the basketball.
McAfee for 3. He says, Ralph Lee, forget patience. I feel it.
He feels it. He's on fire. As he gives me a wink there to tell me I'm on fire right now, Ralph.
And Bob Hill uses his second timeout. McAfee with 14 points, and he's had a bunch here in the last couple of minutes.
Take a look here. We were talking about reversing the basketball. A little bit of a reversal there. Wide open. Gives it to Aaron Turner. Slips to the other side. A little bit of ball reversal. Wide open 3. Knocks it down. Take the time against the trap.
Well, tomorrow night, Mary Camden has the perfect guy for her sister. And he looks a little familiar. Don't miss an all-new 7th Heaven tomorrow night at 8 on WB64. Bo McAfee, 14 points. He missed 9 of 10 shots at Temple. He's hit 6 of 9 today.
And he's playing well right now. Now what he has to do, he's got his offense off. He has to include the rest of the team in this now. Pick up the Darnell and pick up Mr. West. This is where you get your team involved now. You're knocking down some shots. You're going to continue to get shots. They're going to play you tight on the perimeter. Now drop it down in there to Mr. West or drop it down in there to the other big guy, Turner, and let them work.
Now Xavier was starting to really falter, but McAfee with 7 unanswered points, and it's 38-30 Xavier.
Skip now has made the adjustment and come back with a small lineup on his end. The only big guy he has in there is David West.
1:50 to play in the half. This is Johnson. Harris, a good shooter, and he gets the triple. Harris averages 15 points a game, and he's a tremendous long-range shooter. A steal by Johnson. He has West to beat and does it easily. And Fordham refuses to die. Xavier calls the timeout. It's 38-35. Xavier, and now they're saying Xavier stepped over the baseline on the inbounds.
Unbelievable.
Boy, just when it looks like Xavier is about to blow Fordham out of here, things change.
And what happened in that last play, if you take a look, McAfee dribbled over half court, picked up his dribble right at the half court line. Now, so he has 4 guys playing him defensively. The backcourt, the side out, and the 2 guys trapping. And instead of seeing what they're in defensively before you step over half court and then make your decision. He jumped over half court, then made a decision. What am I going to do here? They've got to take the time. You don't have to play 100 miles an hour when this other team is scrambling, because this is what you call a scrambling defense. You don't play 100 miles. You play 50 miles an hour, reverse the basketball, get inside to your big guys, make this game a lot easier than what you're making it right now.
And not to point the finger, but that always falls on the point guard, does it not, Ralph?
Well, it's right on the point guard. He's got to be able to tell what tempo. You run when you want to, and you slow down when you have to.
So right back in it are the Rams, down 3. 1:25 left first half. A triple here ties it. And Kaczynski for the tie. Got it! And this game is deadlocked.
And that's one thing I noticed when Kaczynski went to the top. David West laid off. He's got to step out on Kaczynski because he'll knock that down.
Kaczynski, a 42% three-point shooter, has 8 points off the bench. Game tied with a minute to go. McAfee for the lead. Rebound West.
Straight up. Just go straight up.
Missed again. And down with it are the Rams. Johnson, great catch. That was some kind of athletic catch. This is Harmatuck. I don't know what that was, but he got a foul call.
Yes, he did. And you can see the confidence growing in Fordham right now. Harmatuck took that ball to the basket like, I'm going to score this basket. Yep. Their pep and their step is back in Fordham. Xavier taking it out.
And look at the Fordham run after Skip Prosser's team looked to have this game in hand. But Bob Hill has done a terrific job getting this club to believe in itself. Bob Hill was saying earlier that this is a team, Fordham, that has a tendency to quit. He says a lot of times our kids don't stick together. He has worked more on team unity than sometimes on basketball.
And that's what it takes nowadays in college basketball. Everybody's worried about my stats. The good teams, they don't worry about who's getting the points. Only thing they worry about is at the end of the game, what does the W say?
Well, Fordham looking for its first lead of the game. Harmatuck gets it. What a comeback by the Rams. Xavier had at one point a 12-point lead and also had a 14-point lead. Now they're down a point with a half minute to go in the half. Wow.
Run your offense. Unbelievable. Run thumbs up now.
6-second difference in the shot clock and game clock. 12 on the shot clock, 18 on the game clock. Xavier with the ball down 1. Brown traveled out front. They don't even get a shot off. What a way to go into the locker room at halftime, because Fordham, regardless of what happens here, has certainly taken the momentum. And also what you've done with Fordham is make them believe they can win the basketball game. And Fordham has the lead, even though the turnovers would indicate that it should be Xavier in a rout. Look at that.
14-7.
7 on the shot clock and game clock. A block inside by David West. Price with 2 seconds. McAfee stripped at half court. And Fordham ends the first half with some terrific play. And Skip Prosser, not a happy camper. His club didn't score in the last 91 seconds. And again, some boos here from the folks at the Gardens. A 14-point lead disappearing, and Fordham leading your Musketeers, who at one point led by 14, now trail at halftime 39-38. And welcome back, everybody, with Ralph Lee. I'm Tom Hamilton. What happened?
You stopped doing the things that got you the lead. You stopped going inside. They're taking too many quick shots. In the half-court trap that Fordham is running at you, you got to take your time, get the ball, reverse the ball, get it inside. They're not doing that. And what has constantly happened, they've turned the ball over. Fordham's gotten themselves right back in the game. And it was the last-ditch hope for Fordham to get into the game, what they did when they went to the trap.
The fact now that you've lost 4 in a row, does again some of that doubt creep in that locker room at halftime?
Oh, no question. But the big thing that happens in the locker room right now is Skip says to them, hey, we're on our home floor. We're playing terrible. You're getting booed. You deserve to be booed right now. And you better come out the second half and play Xavier basketball. Or you see this crowd tonight, this crowd will get all over you the second half. And that really motivates you because you're in your home and you don't let anybody come in and beat you.
I got a feeling you're going in the locker room and giving that speech.
I tell you, if I was in there and I was the coach, that's the speech I'd be giving right now.
Well, they'd listen to you with that orange shirt, I'll tell you that. We've got a special feature on the beautiful Cintas Center. That's coming up after this. 39-38, the countdown continues here at the Gardens. Just 6 games left. And then, of course, next season, the beautiful Cintas Center will be opening up on campus.
With wintry weather taking hold on Cincinnati, workers on Xavier's campus have, for the most part, moved inside the Cintas Center, Xavier's new basketball arena. It's been almost 2 years since ground was broken on the project, and by the end of June, the building will be up and running. Like his staff, Athletic Director Mike Babinski is looking forward to having a new home.
When you're caught up in the midst of a year, you know, obviously the basketball staffs, men and women, are busy fighting their way through this season and trying to make the best of that. On the other hand, when they do catch a free moment, I know they're all excited about this because we're talking about different plans and we're making decisions about what it's going to be like in just 5 or 6 months from now.
Musketeer fans have plenty to be excited about as well. A glass atrium will welcome the fans to the arena as they enter on the concourse level. In addition to the concession stands, there will be a club bar and souvenir stand off the concourse. That level will also provide access to seating in the upper and lower bowls, as well as in the 22 Founders Suites.
There are 14 seats, 3 rows of seating for each suite. That'll be, we think, you know, absolutely the finest seats in the house.
This approximation of the court shows how close fans will be, even in the seats that are furthest from the floor.
And that to me is the most attractive feature of the whole place for what we're trying to accomplish in terms of atmosphere and access to the game for our fans. I mean, they're going to be, I know Bob talked about this before, I mean, this arena was designed to be right on top of the action, and it's going to be that way.
Babinski and project manager Bob Sheeran both know the excitement will continue to grow as the Cintas Center nears completion.
Even without a seat in here, it looks awesome, you know, to be honest with you. Yeah. Without a seat, without a scoreboard, without anything. Without the thing finished, you know.
Yeah, really, what's going to happen here the next few months is you're going to start to see the building really come alive with color. When those dark blue seats go in, those railings get painted, you know, and that center hung scoreboard, and then when that floor goes down there with the graphics on it, I mean, it's going to be so bright with all the lights coming off of the catwalk, and I mean, it's just going to be, it's just going to come alive.
Lead over the Xavier Musketeers. Welcome back, everybody, with Ralph Lee. I'm Tom Hamilton. Xavier had a 14-point lead, and now they're in a dogfight.
They're in a dogfight right now, and Fordham believes they can win this ball game. And that's what makes it a dogfight. The first 4 minutes of the second half is going to be the key to whether Xavier wins this basketball game.
But before we take a look ahead, let's take a look back at the first half. These halftime highlights are brought to you by the BMW store, where passion loves company.
One of the things that have been the most consistent players has been Lloyd Price, knocking down the 3 there. And defensively, Lloyd has been consistent as well with a steal and the aggressiveness we talked about, taking it to the rack. Need more of that in the second half. We also need less turnovers. The other thing is David West. Need to get him more involved offensively. Strong rebound here. Nice putback. Got fouled.
Let's take a look at the numbers. And Fordham really picked up its shooting in the latter stages of the first half, and Xavier really went cold. The rebounding is another very important category.
Rebound is another category that's real big. But one of the things that's not on there is assists. And Mo McAfee has 1 assist.
Yeah.
And that's huge. You got to get more assists, less turnovers. You got 8 turnovers in the first half, the Fordham's 14. That's not going to get it done.
Well, we'll check out who did what in the first half from an individual basis. But first, let's take this time out, and then we'll be back for point as we get ready to start the second half. And let's check out the first half scoring leaders. Both ball clubs had a lot of people chipping in. And Levon Robin, and then off the bench, a surprise, in Arseny Kaczynski, each with 8 points. Pretty good balance for the Rams, as you can see. And again, remember, they're playing without one of their big men with the flu, Oliveras. The Xavier Musketeers have 2 guys doing most of the damage. Mo McAfee, 14 points, but as Ralph mentioned, only 1 assist. And Lloyd Price had that dynamite start, but then injured the shoulder and cooled off. Other than that, Xavier not getting much production.
Big thing in there is you got Weston Fry with only 8 points and Darnell Williams with 2. That's not going to get it done. You have to pick up the scoring from Darnell, and you have to pick up the scoring from either West or Fry. One of those 2 give you a big half, the second half, and Darnell pick it up, and you get the consistency from Mo and Lloyd. You're going to win the ball game.
Well, Darnell Williams, 1 for 7 shooting. David West, 1 for 6. And you can see the Xavier shooting woes continuing today. This has been a pattern, and now a 5-game pattern. Xavier has not won since January 9th when they won at Rhode Island. And they haven't lost 5 in a row since 1982 during the days of Bob Stack. And the Musketeers, unless they play better ball in the second half, are really going to put themselves in a hole they may never recover from for this season. Kevin Frey, right off the bat, turns it over.
Not the way you want to start the second half. You wanted to start it by getting the ball inside to the guys, getting them off the snide, but not by a turnover.
And Xavier started this game with such great intensity. Their defense was superb. They had a 14-point lead, but Fordham has gotten back into it, needless to say, and turning it over are the Rams. That's 15 turnovers on Fordham, yet they lead by a point. Frey for 3. And that's a big triple for Frey, who's really struggled with his shot over the last couple of weeks.
I tell you, they're waiting for somebody to make a play.
Yep.
Somebody has to make a play.
Xavier back up by 2. Full court pressure really rattling the Rams. The turnover, Price spinning, fade away, off the glass. Price 14, the steal by Williams. Nice anticipation on the cross-court pass by Johnson. The layup blocked. Darnell Williams blocked it. And now a foul is being called on Xavier. Or is it? I think they've called goaltending.
Darnell hustled back. New coach Prosser is going to be upset about that. He hustled back and got that block. Great start. After the turnover, picked it up. Fordham's called a timeout. Skip's got the game right where he wants it right now. Somebody had to make a play. They stepped up and made a play.
Well, Darnell Williams, you saw him in the huddle. He's really upset about something. I don't know, did they call a goaltend or what the call was?
No, they called it Xavier's basketball. It's Xavier's basketball. We're done.
We had the officials, one pointing one way, one the other way.
The big thing Darnell's upset with himself is when he stole the basketball down here, he turned it right back over.
Yep.
And yesterday in practice, that's one of the things they talked about. When we get the basketball, possession is 99% of the law. So keep the ball in your hand. And that's what Darnell was upset with. I bet you that's what he was upset with himself in the huddle.
It is Xavier's ball. Xavier leads by 4. It was knocked out of bounds by Fordham, and the turnovers mounting again for Fordham. We're 1 minute into the second half and 5 turnovers combined. Wow. McAfee passed up the 3. Williams will not pass it up and got it.
You like the ball reversal that time. Reversed it to one side, got out of the trap, reversed it, moved it back, got a guy for a wide open shot. As I say all the time, Tom, this game is easy.
5 for Darnell Williams. And trying to answer his Harmatuck, he does not. Darnell Williams playing like a man possessed. Got that rebound.
That's the first time I saw Darnell go upstairs like that in a long time.
It'll be a kicking the ball violation, a fresh 35 for the Musketeers. And Duke Freeman McKinney entering the Fordham lineup. Xavier with the ball in the 7-point lead. Xavier starting the second half like they started the ball game.
I would call what Skip said to them at halftime as one of those pinch whistles. He ripped his head off at halftime.
West fouled inside on the drive.
See, those are the plays where he's got to finish the basketball. He's got to be able to take the ball and go through people and lay it in. He can't do that right now because his upper body's not where it needs to be. Once it gets where it needs to be, he'll be able to take that ball and go through him and finish the play.
David West held to 4 points today. He does have 7 rebounds, 2 for 2 at the line. And Xavier, which trailed at halftime 39-38, has now outscored Fordham here in the second half, 8-zip.
If David hits this,
9-zip actually.
If David hits this, 5 out of 10 points will come from David and Kevin Frey. And that's what we talked about at halftime.
Now we have the officials conferring. I don't know what that was about. Reggie Greenwood explaining it to Bob Hill. Anyway, Xavier leads at 48-39. Xavier on a 10-0 run to start the second half.
I like the run, Tom, but I want to see it consistent throughout the second half.
Canal in the corner, Harmatuck. Airballed it, Canal, rebound, good fake, and lay-in. And finally, Fordham gets on the board in the second half, going over 2 minutes without a point. And that stops the 10-0 run. Xavier's ball, 7-point Xavier lead, 2 minutes into the second half.
Don't hesitate when you get it.
Frey fouls. Canal with a holding foul. That's the third on Steve Canal. Canal is playing today because Alejandro Olivares, a 6'8" junior out of Argentina, not able to go because of the stomach flu. That's one of the few big men that Fordham has. Frey running the first, but Fordham will be well stocked next year. They've got a 6'10" recruit coming in, a 6'8" recruit that Fordham got away from UConn and Ohio State. And Fordham already with 5 signees. It's already considered by some a top 10 recruiting class in the country.
They got a gentleman sitting on that bench by the name of Mike Brown, who's been around a long time in this game. Was a head coach before and has a lot of connections. Been at the Seton Halls, been up in Connecticut, been at UMass, and he's going to get it done from a recruiting perspective. Well known in the New York City area, they're going to get it done. And if I'm a kid and a coach like Bob Hill comes to my house and says, hey, you have the potential to play at the next level, and I know, wouldn't you believe it?
Yep. On the drive, don't count the basket. Price picks up his first on the bump, and that's why Fordham went out and made a commitment to Bob Hill, a 10-year deal, because this is a university now, Fordham, that's gone 7 years without a winning team. And over the last 4 years, Fordham's averaged 7 wins a season. Kaczynski takes 10 steps.
It took 10 steps. He forgot to get his ticket at the comment ticket counter, and he traveled.
18 turnovers on Fordham, and we're seeing some of this schizophrenia that Bob Hill talked about. I mean, Fordham, you don't know from 1 minute to the next what kind of club you've got on your hands. Williams fouled, and a foul away from the ball.
Going to get David West for a legal screen, Tom.
David West, you're right. That's his second. And second team foul. Another Fordham turnover. My goodness.
Good hustle by Kevin Frey that time. He forced that turnover. Lazy pass by Kaczynski.
Bob Hill is saying where is Mr. Robinson and Sean Elliott when I need them.
Tommy just gave the ball to the Fordham guy. He called it Xavier ball. He gave the ball to the Fordham guy. I think that woke the crowd up a little bit.
So the inbounds will come from Darnell Williams. Xavier 3 minutes into the second half. And Fordham, they can't get back into it with those kind of turnovers. Frey for three. Line drive jumper missing. On the floor, Frey. And who does it belong to? Well, this is no thing of beauty right now. Another turnover, this one on the Musketeers.
Yeah.
49-41 Xavier, 16:37 to play.
We haven't played basketball on the other end of the floor yet.
No.
For a very small time. It's been all Xavier second half.
Kaczynski gets by Frey. Robin down low. Right back to him. Robin for three. Good looking shot.
And they may be out of that mode of not helping out.
Pavon Robin averages 17 a game. He has 11. And Williams has it poked away from behind. Xavier with a 5-point advantage. And into the lineup is Aaron Turner. And the junior out of Columbus will replace Kevin Frey.
And Skip's looking for some answers on the inside, trying to get some second shot.
Yeah, Xavier has really not had much of an inside game today, Ralph. Why is that?
Not at all. Struggled early to finish some shots and gone mostly perimeter, living with the jump shot. There's an old saying, you live with the jump shot, you die by the jump shot.
McAfee. This is Williams. 13 on the shot clock. Nice move inside. Aaron Turner got a hand on the rebound and then was banked from behind by Kaczynski.
And Darnell's a little bit upset with himself because he didn't really finish that play.
A lot of fouls already on Fordham this half. And as a team, the third on the Rams. So Xavier basketball will... Xavier basketball on WB64 is brought to you in part by Toyota. 15:53 to play here in the second half. Xavier up 49-44. As you look at Skip Prosser. Skip Prosser probably takes losing as hard as any coach in America. Even sometimes it's hard to enjoy the wins, but last couple of weeks he has really been bothered by what has happened to his ball club. And he's seen a little bit of both today, from a good and bad.
And you know, the thing that frustrates him the most is that he knows how talented his team is, and knows that a couple of those losses there, teams played well. Like the Dayton loss, Dayton played pretty well. They deserved to win it down the stretch. But teams like a Duquesne and everything else, you don't lose those games. And that's what's bothering him the most so far.
Having a problem here with the shot clocks, but Skip Prosser, even though it is a talented team, and Skip is one guy that won't talk about this, but we can because it's a fact. Still a young team.
Still
for the most part, this is a freshman, sophomore-dominated team. Yes, you have Darnell Williams, but he's not been the player people had hoped coming back from the knee injury. And even though McAfee is a junior, it's his first year as a starter at the point. So still a lot of youth with this ball club.
A lot of youth, and your best players are your young players.
Yep.
Sophomore class, Lloyd Price, and Aaron Turner. Those are some of the better players. The sophomore class is good.
And then a freshman like David West.
Right.
People never like to hear about the youth, but it's a fact. Good save by Aaron Turner. Darnell Williams in the land of the Giants drew the foul. Oh boy, unhappy is Freeman McCamey. He better be careful. That's his third. He thought he had all ball.
That time Darnell caught it in the post. He put his head down. Don't put your head down. Go straight up and explode up. He was lucky there to get a foul call in that instance. When you're catching the post, you got to get your head up, go where the basket is.
Pair of free throws coming up for Darnell Williams. 72% free throw shooter. He was working on his master's degree in education. Already a degree in advertising. And Darnell Williams gives Xavier a 7-point lead. 15:26 to play here at the Gardens. Xavier was down a point at halftime before they exploded to a 10-0 start in the second half.
Man now.
Raymond McAfee inside against West. Sophomore made a nice play.
Hey, nice move. He worked a lot for the game. He was out here 2 hours before the game, working real hard with the assistant coach on this game.
The floater by McAfee, his first points of the second half. He has a game-high 16. Xavier increases the lead to 7. And Xavier a little too exuberant. Aaron Turner throwing an elbow, gets called for it.
Aaron tried to hold Bevan as he went through the lane, and Bevan got knocked over, and referee caught Aaron holding.
First on Turner and on Xavier this half, 14 fouls. 14 fouls now in each club. On the inbounds, guess what? Fordham has just racked up their 20th turnover, and Bob Hill, a very patient man, but right now his club is starting to test that patience.
I tell you, look at, as a coach, you sit there and you have 20 turnovers. You don't even rant and rave. You just look and you say, what can I do?
He's got that Hollywood look, really. Or is that of an attorney?
He's got that nice star shirt, which everybody talks about his customers in the league.
McAfee. He has 18.
And he's giving them what they need right now.
And countering on the other end is Jason Harris. Thing about this Fordham team with Harris and Robin in the backcourt, they can put points up in a hurry. McAfee a little quick with that shot. Aaron Turner, and make that Price with an aggressive rebound. McAfee's pass, a bad one.
One-hand pass, can't do that, Mo.
And a steal by Williams, and he was banged by Harris.
Good hustle by Darnell. That's great hustle by Darnell to get back to cover up for Mo. In that case, like Mo's saying right now, that's his fault. That's his fault. And Darnell hustles back. It's knocked off to us. That's a great hustle play right there. And last week, Tom, in the last couple games, they don't get those loose balls. The other teams get those loose balls, and they lay those in.
Different approach today?
Different approach, a little bit different approach. And Mo came back and said, that's my fault. Took a bad shot, made a bad pass. But that's what you got to do as a point guard. Like I told him before the game, sometimes you got to take fault even when it wasn't your fault.
Xavier has a 6-point edge. Boy, and we are just getting one stoppage now after the other. A holding foul on Terriman Johnson, his third. And Xavier is going to be in the bonus shortly because the next foul will put them at the line for the 1-and-1. And we still have 13:46 to play.
Long time to play to be in the 1-and-1.
And again, both of these teams, terrific free throw shooting teams.
And now what you do is you pound the ball inside. You know you're going to 1-and-1, pound it inside.
Well, out of control. And that's the problem sometimes McAfee has, is that he's going 100 miles an hour when maybe he needs to gear it down a little bit to more like 60 miles an hour.
Absolutely right.
Oh boy, how many steps did Johnson take? Comes to a jump stop. Kaczynski hammered inside by Aaron Turner. Oh man, it looked like Johnson took a lot of steps.
He took a long trip that time.
Oh, today after the game, he's back to protect and serve. No, we're not talking about Ralph Lee and his orange shirt, but help is on the way with RoboCop 2 today after the game on WB 64.
Hey, I tell you, I'm getting killed with my shirt here. I am getting absolutely murdered here. I tell you what, this shirt is a shirt that is for the Orangemen. I keep saying, I'm saluting the Syracuse Orangemen. Jim Boeheim, Louis Orr, local product. I gotta salute them.
Well, Ralph, I give you credit for having the courage to wear an orange shirt. I want to meet the salesman that said this looks good on you.
I tell you.
Inside with a Kevin Frey.
Whoa!
16 for Price. And sore shoulder and all.
Emphatic. I'm tired of all this stuff, Lloyd said.
Bump on Aaron Turner. He doesn't like it. It's his third personal.
Lloyd said, I'm tired of all this. Let's just stop all the nonsense and let's just throw this in.
Price has made 7 of 10 shots today. And at the line to shoot two is Johnson.
Shooting foul?
I didn't think so.
Not a shooting foul.
Not yet. I mean, the 1-and-1 doesn't come into play yet. That's only 5 team fouls, and the referees correct themselves. It was before the shot, and so it'll be an inbounds play. Frey in, Turner out. Kaczynski driving and missing. David West with an aggressive rebound. He has 8, 1 below his per-game average. McAfee, the pull-up. What about that shot, Ralph? Is Frey with a follow?
Frey followed up. Not a good shot. When you're up 5 to 10 points, you want to not get a three-point in transition unless you're wide open. And that time he wasn't wide open. The good thing about that, Kevin Frey got the rebound, stuck it back in for him.
Well, Kevin Frey has 10 today after averaging only 6 a game over the last 4 games. Kaczynski took 4 steps again.
I tell you, Kaczynski has that international game, doesn't he?
Boy.
Watch how fast Mo is to the basket here. Watch this.
Whose ball? It belongs to Fordham. Good recovery by the Rams defense.
That's good recovery. That's a good job by the Rams. Mo's ahead of the pack. Good hustle. Knocks it off him. Then hits Mo's back leg as he's coming down. We don't see it there, but it hits Mo's back leg as it goes out of bounds.
On the breakout, Kaczynski.
Kaczynski has that international game where you get that 1.5 step.
He gets the rebound. Good fake. Off the glass, and Kaczynski, who hails from what used to be known as Russia, has 11 points off the bench. This is Williams. Another quick shot, but this one finds the mark.
Another quick shot.
10 for Williams. Xavier with 4 in double figures. Xavier has a 10-point lead. 8 minutes into the half, and a triple from the corner by Harris. He has 9.
Harris is a good-looking shooter, isn't he?
And now Williams is limping up court. And we have over and back called on McAfee. Darnell Williams hurt that right foot on that last defensive sequence, and he'll hobble off the floor. 11:51 remaining. We've got a timeout from the Gardens. A very unhappy Mo McAfee, and he's unhappy at one of his teammates, McAfee. And this continued into the huddle as he was all over one of his teammates.
He's all over David West that time. He's saying, we're playing hard. You want him to play hard.
And that's some of the frustration coming out over a 4-game losing streak.
That is. That's some of the frustration. And being a freshman, you got to know you got to play hard. But as a point guard, you can't do that in front of everybody.
Kaczynski got home another 3. Ralph, it sounds to me like if you're a point guard, you've got to be very thick-skinned. You've got to take the blame for everything, and you can't take any credit. I mean, it's a tough role.
It's a tough role, just like the quarterback on a football team.
Yeah. From the corner, Elvin Brown, the miss. Look at that rebound by Price. I mean, he just outfought everybody. And that'll be the 4th foul on Steve Cannell, and Xavier will be in the bonus the rest of the game.
Watch Lloyd here. Gets in position down low, goes up, grabs it, goes straight back up, double clutches a little bit, trying to get a 3-point play.
David West, it rolls out. West today, I beg your pardon, Lloyd Price today with 16 points, missing that free throw. And Cannell out with 4 fouls. He's played well, though, for the ill Oliveris. So 17 for Lloyd Price, and Xavier's lead is 5, but they've not been able to deliver the knockout punch.
Key point in the game here. Sometimes, Tom, when you're struggling like this, it's going to take a win like this to get you back in focus, where you got to just grind it out. You're going to just have to keep going until the clock runs out and you finally got a W. You get it off your back, and then you come in and get ready for your next game. So this is going to be a long game where they're going to have to grind it out.
Well, Bob Hill is screaming at the officials because they just got a moving screen on Terraman Johnson, his 4th personal, and it's a 1-and-1 for Xavier. So now you've got Johnson and Cannell on the bench with 4 fouls each. You've got Oliveira sick, and Bob Hill was sick of what he had seen from the men in the striped shirts and let him have it.
Slowly let him have it. He didn't go off. He didn't yell or scream. Just kind of said what he had to say. He's the NBA guy. You know, in the NBA, you get a check for that, what he just said. In college, you can do that a little bit.
Kevin Frey
Getting to the line, the previous 14 games, he got to the line 23 times. This time, the last 4 games, they haven't gotten to the line. 7 less per game. Big thing here, you got 11 minutes where you're in the 1-and-1. Now get to the line.
And when they've gotten to the line today, they've connected 16 of 20 at the line today. And Brown with a steal. Frey's open.
Good ball.
Passes it up.
Good patience. That's good patience.
Brown for 3. Almost an air ball. Frey had it, lost it. Fordham's basketball. Xavier up 7.
But see, Tom, you don't take that shot when you steal the basketball. You don't take that shot. You take possession of the ball, work it around, get a good inside-out shot. That time we never got the ball inside. Work inside.
A lot of times Xavier today is playing like it's a 15-second shot clock, not a 35.
They're trying to deliver a knockout blow in one shot. Trying to get 6 points on one possession.
Harris for 3. And good positioning by Freeman McAfee to draw the foul on David West. And that is 3 on West. Since Mo McAfee's outburst, he's been on the Xavier bench, but he's back in now as Freeman McAfee will shoot a pair. He is a sophomore. Fordham University, I'm sure most of you know as you get a look at Mo McAfee. Fordham University in New York City, a terrific academic school. Digger Phelps, Tom Penders, John Bach, all former coaches at Fordham. And Fordham is a university that kind of gets overlooked in the Big Apple when you talk about big-time college basketball.
They get overlooked until they go down to the Gardens and they play in the Gardens. The other thing about Fordham, which my wife pointed out to me, was Denzel Washington.
Oh, I'm sure she pointed that out.
Pointed that out to me. Denzel Washington graduated from Fordham.
So did Vince Lombardi. And a jam attempt missed by Price. On the other end, this is Freeman McAfee missing and Frey the rebound. And of course, Mark Wagner tells us Pete Harness of the Reds from Fordham University.
Pete Harness. You gotta like the little guy when he laces him up on every 4th day for the Reds. He laces him up. You gotta like the little guy.
And underneath that Reds jersey is a burnt orange t-shirt. Poor Ralph. He'll never wear that shirt around us again.
I'll never wear it around you again, and we'll never be on a 4-game sled again, hopefully.
Mo
I gotta wake
McAfee.
him up.
McAfee now with 19 points. He's game high. Price 17. Frey 12. Williams has 10.
Good balance scoring.
Which they didn't have in the first half.
Which they didn't have in the first half, which we talked about.
And McAfee, who had that miserable 1 for 10 shooting night at Temple, today with a 20-point outburst. And he's picked up 3 assists in the second half after having just 1 at halftime. So Xavier's lead is 7, halfway through the second half.
Gotta guard people right now, Tom.
Carroll finds Harmatuck. He's a pretty good shooter. Well, so much for that. Air ball to 3.
We'll come back the next time and maybe knock down the 3.
Lloyd Price trying to get by Harmatuck. Williams fires the 3. Got a 3.
He's looked good today.
13 for Darnell Williams. And Williams with his 3rd triple today. And the Xavier fans back in it.
Back in the game.
On their feet with the Musketeers up 10. 9-10 to play. And Bob Hill calls another timeout.
Darnell Williams was the one that got him back into got the crowd back into the game, knocking down the 3. Good penetration, good ball reversal. Darnell wide open, knocks down the 3. Goes back to that same old thing, Tom. Patience, ball reversal, guys are wide open. Don't take the first 3 you see. You take the first three you see, it's a rush shot. You dribble, penetrate, reverse the basketball, take the second three, which is wide open. The guy's got a much better chance when he's in rhythm, catching it, squaring his body to the basket, and knocking it down.
Well, tonight at 8 o'clock, it's the show critics are raving about, a special 2-hour presentation of Jack and Jill, tonight at 8 on WB 64. Darnell Williams taking your advice because the patience has resulted in 3 triples, 13 points, and Xavier down 1 at intermission, now leads by 10, 9 minutes to play.
Key part of the ball game right now, Tom. This is the time of the game where you got to settle down and play possession by possession now. You're up 10. What you want to do is try to push the lead to 20 by playing 5 straight possessions and not giving up any baskets.
Well, you know, the name we haven't said much this second half is Kevin Frey. He's not even on the floor right now. What was that? Just ahead of the shot clock.
Yeah.
Carroll. What a poor sequence that was off a timeout.
And you know Bob Hill's not happy about that.
Oh, boy, I guess not.
Listen what we talked about. Take your time. Run your offense.
I got to believe they've got to get Kevin Frey back in that game pretty soon. Fordham all day long seems to be fighting an uphill battle. And Frey throws it away. And on Xavier, 17 turnovers.
Trying to get the ball inside.
We've had 41 turnovers in this game, Ralph. 24 by Fordham, 17 by Xavier.
You know, the big thing in this game is that Fordham's hanging around, but Ron Robin is not even in the basketball game.
Yeah, I wonder if something's wrong with him. He has 11 points. Now he's standing up by the bench, so he's still here. I mean, it's not like he's in the locker room or anything. Now what?
AB knocked the ball out of bounds. Got 5 seconds to get it over.
And Johnson just does. Kind of a different game, hasn't it?
Different game.
Inside a jam by Freeman McAfee. And he has 8 off the bench. And as you say, Ralph, Fordham is not going away.
No, it's going to be one of those games where you got to grind it out.
Xavier with an 8-point lead, excuse me. And out front, Harris mauling David West. And again, remember, Xavier's at the line for the bonus the rest of the way. And that's the third on Harris. And again, Kevin Frey
just kind
still on that bench.
Just kind of cooling out, Tom.
A puzzling situation. David West hitting the front end. David West has 8 points to go with his 8 rebounds. Hasn't missed a free throw yet. There you see, about to become the first freshman since Brian Grant to lead Xavier in rebounding. Aaron Turner is in. Frey is out. And the Musketeers back up by 10. We have 7:40 remaining in the Gardens. Skip Prosser's club trying to stop the 4-game slide. At the Gardens, we're just under 9,000 checking out today's play, and our next Xavier Musketeers telecast comes against the Dukes of Duquesne. Xavier will try to extract some revenge on Tuesday, February 15th. We'll be with you at 7:30 right here on WB 64. David West closing in on another double-double.
Had 4 points at halftime. He's got 4 in the second half. He's got 8 rebounds to go along with that.
Kevin Frey is still on the Fordham bench. I wonder if he and Bob Hill got into it. Because Bob Hill has set a precedent this year with this ball club. You're doing it his way or it's the highway.
There's a lot of places to go in New York.
25 turnovers on the Rams. Bob Hill is about to destroy those classes. If you miss a study table or a class, the next day at 5 o'clock in the morning, you're running the stadium steps. So he is really trying to install discipline, which is the same motto that Skip Prosser has here at Xavier. But I got to believe there's something going on between Hill and Kevin Frey, or we would see Kevin Frey.
Yeah, we would. You know, with Coach Hill, he's probably given a lot of leeway, and he has certain rules that you have to follow. If you don't follow those rules, then you're going to be in trouble.
We're just speculating, but as far as we know, there's nothing wrong with it. Although, again, Oliveris is out with a flu today. You never know. Anyway, we're just under 7 minutes to play. Xavier has a 10-point cushion. Good block out by Kaczynski. Poked away. Turner.
That was good defense by David West that time. He poked it away. Hanging around. Just poked it away.
Boy, the press has really bothered Fordham today. Turner with his first two. Kaczynski, finally they called traveling.
They finally caught him. They caught Kaczynski traveling, which is unbelievable. Like I said, he's got a little bit of that international game, Tom, where you get that 1.5 extra step, and he still has a lot of that left in it.
Well, that's the exchange rate. It's much different in Russia than it is here in the United States.
We got a tight exchange right here.
That is 27 turnovers on the Rams. Darnell Williams poked away. West picks it up. Xavier leads by a dozen. 6:15 to play. Almost a travel on McAfee.
Run your offense, Matt. Come out and run your offense.
12 on the shot clock.
Set a high screen and roll here. High screen and roll.
McAfee. Inside, West just picks it up and gets his 10th point. And the Rams in trouble now. 14-point Xavier lead. Just under 6 minutes to play.
And that's what I talked about, grinding it out. Just grind it out.
Jump hook, Freeman McAfee. Rebound snatched out of the air by Darnell Williams. He's played inspired ball today. And Williams hammered by Harmatuck, and Xavier in the double bonus.
If you look down the other end with the rebound with Darnell, you can start to see some explosions back in Darnell. He's starting to get up around the rim and grab rebounds around the rim. Take a look here. Watch Darnell go up and get the rebound. Starting to give you back some explosion. Right near the rim, snatches it away. He knocks down his first free throw.
And Xavier now leads 77-62. Darnell Williams today has 14 points, 4 rebounds. But he has shown a lot of intensity as well that's rubbed off. So the Rams now down 15. This is the biggest Xavier lead. And, oh, a turnover, and Bob Hill is livid. Wow. That hair almost got mussed. And they reversed the call. Now Skip Prosser's not a happy camper. Bob Hill says, my 4 best friends that I trust explicitly told me, whatever you do, don't take the Fordham job. But he took it because he thinks he can rebuild Fordham into something special. 5:20 to play. Xavier up 15. Harmatuck lean in, didn't get a call. McAfee the other way.
Nice and soft. Nice and soft. Aaron Turner has been the difference right now. Tom, he's come in and gave him some energy. Diving for loose balls, getting his hands on a lot of balls. Aaron Turner's been the difference right now.
Xavier leads 79-64. McAfee now with 22.
And I tell you, Skip's not happy with that move right there with David West with a reach on the baseline. And the guy went by and got a layup. You'll see Kevin Frey in the game for him right away.
Xavier up 15. Musketeers lead 79-64. This is Kaczynski. Missed the 3. Rebound McAfee.
Slow down and notice your guys are tired. You got to know your guys are tired right now.
Yep, and Xavier calls the timeout. We have 4:28 to play in this one. Xavier right now has control of it, but we have thought that a number of times here today at the Gardens. Tomorrow night, Mary Camden has the perfect guy for her sister. Mandy looks a little familiar. Don't miss an all-new 7th Heaven tomorrow night at 8 on WB 64. 79-64 our score. Skip Prosser's club has a 15-point lead.
And this is a key point of the game. Skip called timeout. His troops were a little bit tired that time, so he called timeout. Key possession here to come out and try to work the offense and get something productive out of this timeout.
And Xavier, when they score like this, they win. They haven't lost when they've scored 80 points or more. And that dates back a couple of years now. You know, it's amazing. Xavier had a total of 89 points total in their last 2 games. They're going to match that possibly today.
And that was a good point. You look there, Fordham came out in the trap, reversed the basketball, got a little bit of penetration, dropped it down, and got a layup.
McAfee has 24, and Xavier now leads 81-64. And Maurice McAfee has a new career high now with 24. Air ball on the other end. Another turnover on the Rams. I don't know that I've ever seen a ball club where this late in the season have this many turnovers. And this is not a bad Fordham club. Remember, they beat Dayton, they beat the Bonnies, but 28 turnovers on January 30th.
A lot of that has to do with your point guard Bevan sitting on the bench too.
Yeah,
a lot of time in the second half.
We've got a timeout. Xavier has this. Has been brought to you in part by Provident Bank, by Jeep Chrysler Plymouth Dealers, by Kroger, by Open Plan Systems, and by Ameritech. Xavier, which has threatened to blow out Fordham on a couple of occasions today, now back up by 17 with 3:40 to play. This is McAfee with a new career high 24. Xavier now working the clock, and Turner throws it away.
Coming out of a timeout, that's unacceptable. To throw it away out of a timeout.
Armatuck almost turned it over. 18 turnovers on Xavier. A block by Price. He's played superbly. Frey.
Great play by Lloyd Price.
14 for Frey. Credit Price with that dunk. Nice save by Price.
Good hustle, Lloyd.
3 minutes
Watch out
to
for him on the
go.
wing over there.
Xavier up 19. So the Musketeers now in complete control of this one. And a 4-game losing streak about to end.
Got to do now, Tom, is try to work towards the next game against Dayton. Continue to do the things that you need to do to win ball games. Don't finish out sloppy, finish out strong.
Darnell Williams off the inbounds. Oh, he looks like a different player today. 17 for Darnell Williams. That's his 4th three-pointer.
Got a foul on Patinsky, who tried to trip Aaron Turner on the way up the floor.
Well, it's all coming apart at the seams for Bob Hill and the Fordham Rams. And Bob Hill may have to come up with another motivational tool. Let's see, he's taken them to the movie Any Given Sunday. He's given them Bill Bradley's book, Value of the Game. They read it, discuss it. But after today's performance, with 30 turnovers, I don't know if there's a book that'll help that. Roy Elfers tells us gone with a win. Well, Xavier, which scored 89 points total in its last 2 games, now has 88 points today and leads 88-64, 2.5 minutes to play.
And let's not forget, this is not a bad Fordham team that did this
not.
to.
I mean, Fordham was up a point at halftime.
Yeah, and people out there probably saying, well, it's just Fordham. But don't forget, Fordham's beating Dayton and St. Bonaventure.
Darnell Williams with a holding foul. Well, you look at the scoring today for Xavier. McAfee, 24. Williams and Price, 17 each. Frey, 14. West, 10. And then you couple that with a Xavier defense forcing 30 turnovers. That is 8 below the school record. They forced 38 turnovers a couple of years ago against Northeast Louisiana.
And you know, the one thing I looked at today when I walked into the gym, I was sitting down talking to Joe Sullivan. We were talking about this game, and we looked at the Fordham record being 9-9. You know, this was a big moment for Bob Hill in his first year.
Yep.
Because he figures if I can get a win with Xavier, I've got some momentum. I've downbeaten St. Bonaventure. I've also beaten Dayton. I've beaten Xavier. This is it's what I call a program building type game for him. And this was how important it was. And Fordham came out the first half and played like that.
You look at Bob Hill. He's a native of Columbus, Ohio. Went to Worthington High School, then to Bowling Green. But his return to the Buckeye State has not been an enjoyable one. Xavier, with 2 minutes to go, up 22.
A big scoring explosion in the second half, all keyed by the inside guys. Got the inside guys involved, which in turn, the first 10 points in the second half, 5 of them came from the inside guys.
Lloyd Price feeling it. Everything going Xavier's way now. Price has 20.
I don't know if there's been a better player in Atlantic 10 over the last 5 or 6 games than Lloyd Price.
He's 8 of 12 from the floor today. 91-66 Xavier. Frey ahead to McAfee. The lob. The layup by Williams. And a timeout. Or is there a foul? Nope, timeout is called. Skip Prosser wants to get some of the reserves in with 1:19 to go. 93-66 Xavier, and our Kroger Musketeer player of the game, Maurice McAfee, a career-high 24 points, 5 assists in the second half alone.
And that was the difference in the second half. Got everybody involved. Challenged his team at one point. Hey, I'm playing hard. I want everybody to play hard, which was good. Didn't happen in the right way you need to do it, but he challenged them. I want you to play hard just as hard as I'm playing right now. And they responded.
And we saw not only intensity today, but a lot of emotion from Xavier that maybe has been missing occasionally this season. But the complete package was on exhibit here today, and Xavier is going to get a critical win. Now leading at 93-69 with just under a minute to play.
And for all you Xavier fans out there that watched the Dayton game up to Dayton, I can tell you that they're going to need that energy on Wednesday to push them through that game. Because Dayton had a lot of energy on Wednesday, and that was just unbelievable up there.
Well, let's check out today's Open Plan Systems play of the game. Lloyd Price did a little bit of everything today. He's our Open Plan Systems play of the game.
This is a nice steal here. Keeps it in the left hand all the way down, young fellas, and then takes a shot with his left hand. All you young fellas out there watching the game, keep thinking there. Kept it in his left hand, shot it with his left hand.
93-71, Musketeers, 43 seconds to play. And Skip Prosser able to clear his bench now. Even the walk-ons getting a chance to play. It's Johnson, Ballinger, Caldwell, all in there. We'll check that Caldwell's not made his clearance yet. Obi Harris now in.
Won't be any problem having any empty in this building the next home game.
No. Xavier with Elvin Brown making it point number 94. Xavier's high this year was 96 against Maryland Eastern Shore. This was a lot better club than Maryland Eastern Shore, speaking of Fordham. Rebound. Good fake. Layup not there for Baronis. Obi Harris fouled. He'll shoot 2. Xavier still attacking with 38 seconds left.
Still attacking, still playing hard. And this is one of those games where you look at your program and you say, hey, we've been struggling. Let's get a win. Any way we can. Let's get a win.
And Lloyd Price, sore left shoulder and all, today with 20 points, 5 rebounds, countless steals.
He's been the rock of his foundation really over the last couple of weeks. Been playing real hard, real well. Big thing today, though, Darnell Williams got off 19 points. Lloyd Price 20, Will McAfee 24. Mac had 24, but the best thing I liked about Mac in the second half, he had 5 assists.
Yeah. And I like what you said, too. I mean, the fact he got into the face of a teammate shows you that intensity, that burning desire, and you can come up with all the cliches you want, but a coach can only do so much, as you know, Ralph, if peer pressure means more.
And sometimes you got to do that to your team. You know, I didn't like the way he did it, so openly, but sometimes you got to pull him to the side and say, listen, we got to get in the deal. You're costing us right now.
Well, how many times did you have to put Byron Larkin in line?
After his freshman year, no more. No more.
Byron, who does a great job with the radio. side of it down a few rows or a few seats.
Took the rookie, put him to the side a couple times.
You made Byron Larkin the player he was, correct?
I didn't make him. I had a small part to do with that. If you ask him, he'll tell you the truth, though. I gave him a lot of layups. He did a lot of this when he was playing. He did a lot of that.
Well, it's a fun time right now for the Musketeers. Today, they get to walk off this court and not hear boos. They lead 95-77. Elvin Brown with an exclamation point maybe to this win. A new season high for Xavier, 97-77. Aponte for 3. Rebound Obi Harris, and that's the way it'll end. Well, nope, a quick layup at the buzzer, count it. Does it matter? No, it doesn't. As Skip Prosser continues his unbeaten string against the Fordham Rams. And the Musketeers, in a must-win situation, get that win, down a point at halftime, and they come out storming in the second half and win it 97-79. We'll get Ralph Lee's final comments when we come back as Skip Prosser and the Musketeers win.